Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Evolve with Emily show. I'm your host, Emily Hayden, and you are joining me for a solo episode today. Today, we will talk about the 10 reasons why you might be stuck and what to do to get unstuck. Now, before we dive into today's episode, I have a few exciting announcements that you will want to know about. If you are in the SoCal area, I am hosting an in-person event. I so far have the first two scheduled, called Evolve with Emily at the Beach. We are going to move, we are going to breathe, and we are going to transcend this experience through meditation. All the information for that will be linked down below. So if you're anywhere in the SoCal area, definitely check it out. The second thing is that if you guys watched the episode that I did with Eric Uresk, he has decided to do a giveaway and we're doing it together. So for anyone that rates and reviews that episode that we did together, so you can do this simply by taking a selfie mode video to your Instagram story and sharing your takeaways, sharing what you thought was helpful in the episode, or just what you thought about it in general, and then tagging both of us, then he's going to give out a free coaching session. If you guys remember in the episode, he talked about a coaching method called EFT. And after the podcast, I actually went and did it for myself for the first time with him. And it was absolutely incredible. The way that I would describe it is it's like subconscious surgery. He gets all the way down to the deepest truth that you have embedded within you, which really is a limiting belief that you simply chosen to be true because it's what you've believed your whole life. And simply the awareness of that alone can really be life shifting. So if you want to enter that, again, just post to your stories some takeaways, what you thought about it. Tag the both of us, Emily Hayden and Eric the Gentleman on Instagram. And then we'll choose a winner. I would say I think, you know what, we're going to say, because I don't have time to talk to him right now as I'm recording, we're going to give it 2 weeks from when this episode goes live. So you guys have 2 weeks to get your entries in. We'll choose somebody and you'll get a free coaching session with Eric. So let's get into today's episode, the 10 reasons why you may be stuck. I really felt it on my heart to share this today because I've been doing a ton of incredible work with my coaching clients and I'm seeing a lot of commonalities between all of them in the top reasons why people are stuck, why they can't, have a breakthrough in their life, their career, their goals, and why they seem to be in these patterns. So I've broken it down into 10 different ones. The number one is the inability to be deeply honest with oneself. I think even people that think that they're being honest with themselves are they're just not. To put it very simply, they're just not being deeply honest with themselves, or they have a problem giving a true assessment of their effort, their consistency. It's kind of like when you don't track macros at all and you have an idea in your head of how many calories you're eating, how much protein you're getting in, and then you actually start tracking and you're able to see the numbers and you think, wow, that's way more calories than I thought, or wow, that's way less calories than I thought. Or, for someone who doesn't have experience, those are often experiences that they have is they just have this like wake up call of, wow, my food is not at all where I thought it was. The same thing is true in life. I think people have this idea that they're really showing up for themselves, that they're believing in themselves, that they are around good people and that kind of thing. Yet when I do a life assessment with them and have them actually rate each one of these areas, it becomes so abundantly clear why they are exactly where they're at. So I think the first step is just being deeply honest with yourself about where you're at and also about what your desires are. So many people are so scared to say what they actually want, even to themselves. It's really mind-blowing. And I think the first step is to give yourself the open space and the freedom to craft your dream life. If you were to get your journal and your pen, and if I were to tell you that if you write it down, it'll be your reality tomorrow, and it's a reality you get to live for like the rest of your life, then what would you write down without hesitation? If you're somebody that actually deeply desires a family, and if you were to write it down, it would actually happen for you tomorrow, would you hesitate to write it down? No, I think you'd write it down. It'd be the first thing you write down. But yet in our lived experience, because we have been disappointed time and time again, our heart has been broken, things haven't worked out, we have this belief that it can't really happen for us. And so I find it's important not just to be honest about how you're showing up to your life, how you're actually, just showing up to every aspect of your life, your goals, your fitness, your mindset, your friendships, but also to be honest about our desires. What is it that we actually want in our life? And sometimes it's hard to identify that as well. So sometimes it takes a little bit of work and going back and forth and asking yourself some really deep questions to get to the root of what your desires really are. And then it's asking yourself the question, what do you believe about your desires? I have foundational truths for myself, and this is something that I help my clients set for themselves as well, their core values and then their foundational truths. The foundational truths are incredibly important because that is what shapes your belief about the world, yourself, what's possible for you. And so when life circumstances happen, like let's say that I have this foundational belief that everything that happens in my world is for me, not against me. And that is a foundational truth of mine. We don't have to pretend. What that means is that when something happens in my life that is very undesirable or feels negative or feels like it's bringing me down, rather than being a victim and letting it bring me down, letting it destroy me, letting it destroy all hope and belief in a good future for myself, I actually take a very empowering standing point and say, what is this for? How could this be making me better? How is this going to make me a better version of myself? And then my reticular activating system, the RAS system in your brain, it looks for all the ways in which this could potentially make me better. So it's really beautiful when you start to learn about your body and the way that you think and how everything is interconnected, because since I'm aware and educated on the RAS system, the reticular activating system that looks for proof of things, I intentionally give it proof of things that are empowering, full of hope, full of a good future, full of the best is yet to come. And because I put those things into my brain, that's exactly what I find in my life experience. But the opposite is true too. If you don't know about this, and if you're stuck in the victim mentality, and if you're stuck in all these things always happen to me, guys always treat me this way, women always treat me this way, this always happens to me, then you're in a very disempowering state, and you're actually giving your brain proof that it continues to perpetuate. It'll continue to perpetuate that proof that you give it for the rest of your experience until you shift that, until you break through that perspective. So the second thing is ineffective time and energy management. The biggest thing that I see here in today's society is distractions. Everything in your life that is not pushing you towards being the fullest version of you, the most authentic version of you, towards your goals, towards the things that actually fulfill you, like quality time with the people that you love. Everything else is a distraction. And we are in the world where, if you guys watched that documentary on Netflix, oh my gosh, I'm blanking of the name. It was about social media. I've talked about it before. The Social Dilemma. Thank you for coming through. The Social Dilemma. If you guys watched that, these incredibly intelligent engineers have crafted this app to know you and study you, know your habits, know what you spend time on in efforts to keep your attention. And guess what? When your attention is being kept by something like a phone, a social media app, guess what is not getting your attention? The actual life that's right in front of you, your goals. I guarantee you, most people are never bored these days. They don't allow themselves the opportunity to be bored. And I say it that way because creativity is born in boredom. When you're always having things to do, your schedule is jam-packed, or you're keeping yourself distracted through all these other things that don't actually fulfill you and don't actually make you feel better, you literally have no time for creativity. You have no time to think of a new idea because you're always intaking everyone else's ideas, thoughts, and opinions. So it's really important with the time and energy management piece to, number one, identify the distractions that are currently stealing your attention. Mindless scrolling on social media is probably one of the biggest ones. There's not just one app, there's multiple apps for us to choose from. And guaranteed, this is stealing your focus and your attention from creating the life that you desire. When it comes to time and energy specifically, how we spend our time is the most valuable and the most precious decision that we will make on this earth, because our time is the most precious commodity. Don't ever feel bad for charging for your time. If you're charging for your time, I applaud you. You should. It's literally the most precious thing that you could ever give to anyone. And you have to start to value your own time before anyone else will value your time. So right now, if you are giving your time, effort, and energy away to things that are stealing and sucking the life force energy out of your body, like scrolling on social for hours or swiping on dating apps, you likely don't value your own time. I value my time and my energy, so I don't allow myself to spend excess amounts of time on those apps anymore. And I'm a human. I get into moments where I recognize, oh, that thing is happening again. And I have practices and things I put in place. I have boundaries that I put in place to snap me back into my highest alignment. So it's not about being perfect. Nobody's perfect, but it is just a heightened awareness to say, do I personally want to give my time and attention and energy away to the things that aren't creating a future for myself, that aren't inspiring empowerment and hope in myself? So really looking at your time and energy management and deleting those distractions from your life will be incredibly beneficial to you creating the life that you desire and to you having a breakthrough so that you're no longer stuck. The third thing is that you don't know where you're going. You have no vision. I sometimes meet with clients and they feel stuck, but when we find out the root of why they're stuck, it's because they haven't created a clear picture of where they're going. So everything in the moment feels pointless, aimless, like they're in a cycle that they're repeating. It just feels like day after day, they're just crossing off the days, not going anywhere. There's no direction. There's no purpose. There's no idea of alignment, meaning when you don't know where you're going, how are you supposed to know what's aligned for your vision and what's not? So it's really important to get clear on your vision. What is your vision for your life? When you really close your eyes and think about the life that you desire to live, what does that look like? Who is around? What does it feel like? What are the feelings that you want to have? People think that they want X amount of money, but the real thing that you want is that feeling behind the money. And maybe that feeling is a deep exhale. You just don't want to have to stress about finances. Maybe that feeling is generosity, the ability to just give without even thinking twice about it. Just give as much as you'd like to others that are in need, or family members, to be able to do something really dope for them, like buy a car for someone that's in need, or to donate. Maybe what you really want is freedom. You want the freedom to work from anywhere. Maybe you want the freedom to take a trip with your family whenever you'd like and not have to stress about it. Or the freedom to work for yourself and not have to ask for time off, right? So rather than, I want this exact job, my future spouse or partner has to look exactly like this, or I have to have X amount in my bank account. Really, you can start there. I think those are good guiding posts, but then ask yourself some deeper questions. What is it that I'm really after? What is that feeling that I really want to have and embody? I've had clients do this before, actually, and some of them have realized that in some areas of their life, they're actually already there, and they've spent so much time taking it for granted, not being truly grateful for it, not realizing what was right in front of them because they were so focused on the number, on the specifics of what it would look like instead of what it would feel like. And then guess what? When you realize that it's already a part of your experience, you're able to have such a deeper presence and such a deeper gratitude for those things that are in your life as you expand and go for something that's way beyond the vision that you had prior. And that's the thing, guys, we're always growing and we're always evolving. And every vision and touch point that we have with that right now, what's beautiful about that is that as we grow, as we evolve, as we reach these things, we will also grow and evolve past those things as well. And we'll create a life that's beyond our wildest dreams. So the third thing, again, is you probably don't know where you're going. You have no vision. Get a vision and you will get really clear on what's aligned with that vision and what's not. And that's the thing. It just becomes very easy to make decisions when you know what your vision is. Man, when I got crystal clear on my vision, it was just left and right. No, yes, no, yes. Just easy decisions because I was able to see very clearly this is in alignment with that ultimate vision. This is not in alignment with that ultimate vision. And any moment spent out of alignment with my ultimate vision is actually making me stay stuck. It's making me take steps backwards. And that's not why I'm here. I'm here to evolve in my life, to grow, to come into my highest potential. So for me, that alignment is crucial. Number 4 is there is no accountability. So I think I've mentioned this before, but in college, I ended up studying sociology after not going to medical school, which I'm so glad that did not happen. And in sociology, I studied the science behind what makes people adhere to a program and lifestyle changes and what makes people fall off track. And there was, it was a very in-depth study, and it was so fascinating to me because I'm kind of a nerd and I love that stuff. And one of the biggest key factors for people staying and adhering to a program was accountability and communal support. So if you don't have any accountability other than to yourself, I highly recommend that you get accountability immediately. Obviously, you can do something like hiring a coach or hiring a mentor, but don't let that stop you, because you can also get a friend who's on the same wavelength as you. So somebody that is going after their goals, wants to be their best self, doesn't want to subscribe to doing the bare minimum just to get by in life, but they actually want more out of their life. Literally get one friend, meet together once a week or twice a month. And you can even meet via Zoom, via FaceTime, and this is what you do. I'm just going to give you guys a little blueprint. You take 20 minutes each, and in that 20 minutes, you're in the hot seat. So in that hot seat, you can cover whatever it is that you want accountability for. I recommend going through every aspect of life because it's all connected, and you can't be on your fitness and nutrition program and yet slacking in every other area of your life. If you're doing that, you're just in such misalignment within your life. You're in disharmony, and there's just there's deeper things that probably need to be addressed there. So I recommend going through every aspect of life and verbally telling them your goals, your plan, your struggle points, your challenges, and allow them to give you feedback and resources, insight, and then tell them exactly what you want accountability on and say, these things will be done by the next time that we meet. So if you're creating a new business, my new website will be done by the next time that we meet, if it's enough time. Be realistic. I wouldn't say, do that in 2 weeks, unless you want like the first draft of my website will be done in 2 weeks. Right. And then we'll go through it and we'll take a good look at it. Or, in 2 weeks, I will have gotten, 5 workouts a week, 2 cardio sessions. I will have meal prepped each Sunday, and I will have had, 2 off meals or something. Be as specific as you can, but accountability is huge, which, by the way, I just recently, I would say the last couple of months, opened up an opportunity to work with people on a one-off basis. So I offer what's called a 55-minute deep dive session. And I've never offered a single session like this before. I've always done coaching programs, group coaching programs, 12-week-long mentorships, things like that. But after it was requested enough, I was like, okay, let me just try it and see if it feels in integrity with the work that I do. And you guys, I have had so much fun getting to meet with and coach so many more of you guys. It has truly been such a blessing in my life because I love nothing more than getting to dive deep into my clients' life and goals, vision, the struggles, the challenges, and to take it all apart and create a plan, a vision, and action steps for them, and then to watch them execute on it. And it's really amazing what we can do in as little as 55 minutes. So if you guys do want that extra support and want something like a one-off coaching session, that is something that I'm currently offering. I'll place the link down below. And before we jump on to point number 5, I'm actually going to let you guys hear from Tori. She recently booked a deep dive session, and she wanted to share about her experience. So I'm going to go ahead and place her video here.
Hey guys, my name's Tori, and I'm excited to share a testimonial with you guys about working with Emily. So I have been following Emily for quite some time, and timing to work with her on programs was never quite aligned on my part. In the last 6 months, I just kind of had been feeling like it was that next step for me to work with her. And I basically deliberated, probably for a little too long, but I deliberated over it. And then I finally took the step, reached out to gauge her, if I was the right fit for her, to be honest. I wasn't sure if I was maybe the right fit. So we jumped on a deep dive, and needless to say, I have booked in to work with her for the next 3 months. The call was so great that she kind of just gets straight in. My reasoning for being on the fence for so long, I think, was I've lacked clarity. I have really lacked clarity in my life, and I thought, well, if I don't know what I want, why would a mentor help? But I can't even tell you how beneficial it was. She gets straight in, she pinpoints, all sorts of things. And now after that session, it left me with more clarity because it gave me a path to follow, a structure to follow, to try and, start to unravel that thread. So I'm extremely grateful that she has the opportunity to work with her one-on-one. I think if you're on the fence, get off it and just take the step to start working with her, because you won't be sorry. I think, to be honest, the investment has already paid for itself for me. So I'm very grateful to her, and I'm just looking forward to seeing the results in the next 3 months.
Hi, my name is Autumn, and I worked with Emily for 12 weeks doing a one-on-one mentorship. And the best way I could describe working with her is that it feels like a massive breath of fresh air all the time. It's actually hard to put into words the positive impact she's made for me, but after working together, I feel such a deeper sense of clarity, trust, gratitude, and inner wisdom, among many other things, all of which have made a life-changing impact for me. She really supported me through this journey of embodying my most authentic self, and for the first time, I have a true sense of what it's like to really love me for where I'm at all times. And working with her even gave me the confidence to start up my business that I've always been really passionate about. And even aside from all of those things, most importantly, she's equipped me with the knowledge, resources, mentality shifts, and the right practices to implement in order to be the most aware, intentional, and empowered creator of my life experience. Emily truly has this gift for meeting people where they're at with zero judgment. Even if you're considering working with her, I think you should just do it. There's probably a reason you're thinking about it in the first place. And as someone who has experienced the power of her work, I would strongly encourage you to take that step.
If you guys are interested in booking a deep dive, again, that link will be down below. Moving on to number 5. It's because your deepest truth is that you don't believe it's possible for you. Limiting beliefs. Our beliefs dictate everything in life. They dictate how we show up to life, what we think about our life, and what we manifest in our lives. We can sit there all day long and try to manifest something, but if we do not believe it at the deepest level, at a core level, if we don't really believe that that's possible for us, we will never attract that in our lives, because again, there's a disharmony of what we're saying and what we're being. Our beliefs, the things that were really put into our subconscious when we were at a very young age, ages like 8 and younger, right? Those deeply rooted beliefs, which often can be things about love, finances, relationships, family, what's possible for ourselves. Those deeply rooted beliefs are so deep that we don't even realize that they are there. And I think it's incredibly important to do some inner work and to really identify what you believe is true for your life. And again, going back to the foundational truths that I have for myself, part of those foundational truths have come from me overcoming limiting beliefs that I used to have in my life, and me choosing and deciding what I want to believe for my life. The truth that you have is only true because you've decided to believe it for so long. You believing that that's not possible for you, that it's only possible for somebody else, it doesn't even matter exactly how it got there. It just matters that you know that that was put in you at a deeply rooted level at such a young age. And that now the version of you now who is facing your life, who's looking in the mirror, who's doing this inner work, you get to decide what you're going to believe and what you're going to create in your future. So just ask yourself, is this belief, is it empowering me to be all of who I've called to be? Is it in alignment with my highest self? Or is this belief that I'm thinking in this moment is true? Is it holding me back from the life that I really desire? Because if we don't address things at a core belief level, then you'll never be able to have the breakthrough that you want to have. You will act out in a way typically of something like self-sabotage. It's people who get a little bit of success, but as soon as they get a little bit, they kind of do something to backtrack a little bit. And then maybe they make excuses, or maybe they find reasons why they've backtracked. But at a really deep root level, It's that they don't believe that they're worthy of it, or they believe that they don't deserve that level of success. So really identifying your deepest truths at a core level is going to really help you identify why you may be stuck and be able to finally break through that. And again, mentioning to the giveaway at the beginning of the episode, EFT is incredible for this. So make sure to enter that giveaway. Number 6 is your attachment to the way things were. Let's give an example. Let's give a personal example. So when I started on Instagram, everything was organic. If I posted valuable content that actually helped people, then my account would grow. And it did, and it grew exponentially. I mean, I was growing 1,000 real people every single day that were also messaging me and commenting and interacting like real people. And it was fun and it was thrilling, and it was so much fun building an audience like that. It was so fun hearing how these small tips that I shared with them helped them in their life, fitness, mindset, whatever it was. I genuinely enjoyed it and just had the best time doing it. And then, years later, now Instagram is not organic. And now there's an algorithm and there's all these other things. And there's also an overflow of the amount of people that are producing valuable content. Just checking the time here. Okay. If you're watching the video, I'm just checking the time on here. Okay. So if you are somebody that is attached to the idea of how things were in this specific example, you may consider completely quitting social media, raising my hand nice and high for those of you that are just listening. Because it is so disheartening to be doing the same thing that was successful, realizing that in this time and age, it is no longer a successful way to show up to social media. And it's just very difficult to navigate that. And I believe that my attachment to how things were, like if I post valuable content, people should follow it and like it and engage, right? That attachment was holding me back from looking for a different way to adjust to the temperature of how things are now. So now I'm in the realm of adjusting to the temperature of how things are now, finding my groove, finding my new flow with my social media. And that is empowering me actually to show up and find out, okay, what is my flow in this day and age, right? What is it going to look like now in this season? And it can look different than the past. So I hope that small example can highlight to you how you may have an attachment to how things were and how that attachment is holding you back from a new perspective, from looking at things a new way, and from finding a new way to be successful. The 7th reason why you may be stuck is your circle of friends and peers. And no one wants to hear this, right? And here's the thing, there's no judgment on people that are on their own journey, doing their own thing. But this is what I would encourage you to do. Look around at the people that you spend the most amount of time with. So let's say the 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with or that you talk to, whether that's online or in person. Would you switch lives with them right now today? Do they live a life that inspires you, that makes you want to be better, that actually raises your standards? Or are they people that make you feel worse about your life? Are they people that encourage the bare minimum in your life and make you feel good about only doing the bare minimum? Are they people that are keeping you stuck, keeping you in bad habits, encouraging things that are not great for you or your soul, right? What does that look like? Because when I have my clients do an honest assessment of the people they spend the most time with, typically it's either all bad or there's like a half-half, right? Where the people around them are negative and they gossip and they're involved in habits that my clients are actively trying to break. They're always speaking ill or negative. And it's like this negative dark cloud that's around the people that they're always around. So my advice is to simply make yourself unavailable during this time when you're choosing to do some deep inner work on yourself. So as you take time for yourself to grow, evolve, to raise your awareness, become crystal clear in your vision, what you want for your life, just take some time away from these people in order to give it to yourself. You don't have to be dramatic about it. You don't have to cut anyone out. But you also don't have to answer the phone when they call, and you also can take a little bit longer to text back, and you can also already have plans, even if those plans are just with yourself, because I shouldn't even say just with yourself. You are like the most incredible, important person. So for you to prioritize your mental health, physical health, emotional health, your career, your vision, your goals, it's the most loving thing that you could do, because as you elevate, you call others higher, and either they'll reach that level and they'll want to go higher with you, or they'll simply just see themselves out anyways. So it's okay if you need to do a little bit of a cleaning sweep with the circle around you. It's not just okay. It's the thing that's going to help you elevate. And just know that often there is a transition time where when that's happening and you're becoming more unavailable, expect moments of loneliness. Expect there to be maybe a little bit of hurt, maybe a little bit of sadness or loss of the relationship changing and relationship shifting. And I do also have to say, I've done this in my life before, exactly as I'm describing. Nothing dramatic, no judgmental, no sort of judgment, but just kind of making myself unavailable, giving myself more space. And I've seen those relationships come back into my life, and those people growing so much and elevating so much that now the same people that I was taking a little bit of space from ended up becoming motivators and inspiring and supportive in my life, and me for them. And it was really beautiful. So I really recommend just a loving amount of space put between you and anyone else that is not inspiring and calling you higher. Number 8 is the lack of perspective and not realizing the opportunity that's right in front of you. I have to share with you guys, this past weekend, I went to Mexico for a house build. And I went with this organization called Journey to Refuge, and they find families that are in need of shelter. And they found this woman who's a single mom with her son, Alejandra and Oscar, and they needed to get out of a situation where there was black mold in the house. So over the weekend, we go and we built a house literally within a weekend. This was mind-blowing to me. And at the end of the weekend, we dedicated it. And as I witnessed this mom walking through this house for the first time, she had this look on her face and this gratitude and the tears that were in her eyes that were similar to if you guys have ever viewed that perfect apartment or condo or house, and you think to yourself, oh my gosh, this is it. This is my perfect place. And you're so grateful and excited to be there. And it's probably beautiful and updated and has so many things attached to it. She had that same exact feeling and face and tears in her eyes. And this home was a cement floor. It had walls, it had insulation, and it had a roof so that they could stay dry. There's no running water. There's no toilet. There's no shower. There's no kitchen. There's no appliances. There's no furniture. She literally had a concrete floor, which is amazing, so she's not on mud, no black mold, and a roof over her head. And she was crying with gratitude for this. And experiencing that, really, it deeply impacted me at a really deep level. It reminded me of just how lucky we are to have even been born in America, to even have been born in the situation that we were born in. Things could literally be so different. I'm 20 minutes from the border. I literally live 20 minutes from the border, and you cross the border and life looks very different over there. You know, entire families are at the border working, selling candy and statues and snacks and whatever. And when I mean entire families, the grandparents, the children, the parents, right? And it was that like shock of perspective. And when I got back, man, I was even more motivated to live my life, to be the best that I could possibly be, to create something that's beautiful, because I'm willing to bet a lot of those people will never in their entire lifetime have the same opportunity that I have right here in front of me. It's a really beautiful opportunity that I have a podcast, that I've made a living for myself online, that I mean, I won't go into it, but I hope that you guys can just understand. And here's the thing. I know that you'll never be able to feel what I feel without having gone and doing it yourself. And so number one, I really recommend everyone to go be of service in some way. And you don't have to go to Mexico to do it. You don't have to go build a house. Go research organizations that are in your area that means something to you. As soon as I got back, I immediately researched organizations for different things within the San Diego area because I was just reminded that it was such a huge part of my life previously. And I really need that back in my life. And so I'm going to be involved on a more consistent basis, as well as doing some more trips like that. But I was just mentioning research places in your area. You guys, your life can literally change just from a shift in perspective. You know, it's so easy to get down and discouraged and to look at other people on social media, and especially as you're building your business, to see how successful they are, or to me, comparing myself to myself prior. You know, I'm sure you guys don't know the whole story, but going from sponsored athlete by many companies and a big podcast audience with sponsors and all these things to, you know, closing down my business and contracts ending, people not renewing, social media changing, my engagement not being the same, sponsorships dropping, my podcast equipment getting stolen, getting to a place where I essentially started at ground zero. You know, I opened my business back from zero. I started this podcast again back at zero. You know, I got it from zero to making an income, and now I'm back at zero, and the downloads are not what they need to be yet because I'm building it back up from the ground. So I can't just go get a sponsor, right? Which again, so blessed to even be in this situation, but I'm trying to give you guys an insight to like my own comparison and some of the things that I was really navigating and struggling through in my own mind that really were just getting me really down and really discouraged and wondering like, how much can I keep this up kind of thing. And now it's hard to even say that out loud after the experience that I just had. But I knew that this experience was going to be so perfectly timed and so well timed because I saw what I saw, I experienced what I experienced, I got the perspective that I needed. And guys, I came back guns blazing. I have chills just thinking about it because I am in a position that is like no other. And so even if I am in my own mind compared to myself, starting at ground zero, I can build it. If I built it once, I can build it again. So yeah, it's hard. Yeah, things are not as comfortable as they used to be, but holy shit, excuse my language. I went from, you know, doing the final walkthrough in that house in Mexico, concrete, no bathroom, no kitchen, just a roof, right? And I walk into my condo. And in my condo are beautiful wood floors and this perfect podcast table and an entire updated kitchen, a bathroom and a toilet to go to the restroom in the privacy of my own home inside. You know, I could go on and on. Mind blowing. I was walking around and I turn on the faucet to wash my hands and I just like kind of let out like a scuffle, like you know, I took a hot shower in the privacy of my own home and was just like, wow, I really needed that. So I kind of went further into that I planned, but I recommend if you guys have not been of service, go and do it. Number one, people need the help and it's incredible to help. And number two, it'll give you gifts within that you will never be able to get no matter how much meditation you do, no matter how much breath work you do, you will not be able to get the physical, tangible feeling of gratitude that you will get after going and being of service. So go and do it for them and do it for you too. Number 9, comparison, self-judgment, shame, staying in a toxic cycle. So one of the reasons you may be stuck, like we kind of just mentioned, the comparison, but also the self-judgment. I talk to a lot of friends who have this really amazing idea to create this brand or this business, or to maybe even before that, post certain content on social media. And I ask them, you could do that today. Why haven't you started? And they hesitate, and there's this self-judgment. They judge themselves for what it is that they want to do, and they also fear judgment of others, of other people. And I totally understand that, but let me tell you what, I know for a fact that when you are on your deathbed, you are not sitting there like, I wonder what Sally from Virginia thinks about me. I wonder what Dave from, Alabama is saying about me in the comment section. You literally do not care about that. And I'm thankful for the gift of reaching the darkest place in my entire life, because that gift freed me from self-judgment and from the judgment of others. From that moment, I gave myself this permission slip of an FAFO mentality. I'm going to fuck around and find out. I'm going to be all of me. I'm going to be the authentic version of me right now in this moment. Because number one, I know that I'm put here to evolve. I'm never going to stay the same. I'm here to change. So, and number two, I really needed that permission slip so that I would just go and be all of me. And since that moment, I have just become more and more free in who I am and what I do and how I show up to my life. So I would really just say to you guys that's worried about everyone else's judgment, tune into your last moments of your life. What are you going to be thinking about? What are you going to care about? What will matter to you in that moment? And just come from that place. Because for me, when I tune into that moment, I know that I want to know that I lived my life fully, that I lived it authentically, that I lived it with integrity, that I was the highest expression that I could possibly be in that moment, and that I gave it all. I would want to know that the gifts that I was aware of inside, that I actually brought them out into the world, that I shared what was put inside of me with the world, because I believe that every single person was put on this earth with beautiful gifts to share with others. So to me, I see it as an opportunity and also a responsibility to bring those gifts to life. So when that moment, those last few moments of my life, when I'm on that deathbed, I'm going to want to know, I did. I gave it. I left it all here. I didn't try to keep it with me. I didn't keep it all for myself. I really did share. I really did serve. I really did experience. I really did experience all that I wanted to experience in this lifetime. And I loved others, and I received, and I was able to be open to love as well. The people and experiences are going to be the most impactful thing. And I'm also going to want to know that I made people feel important and seen and loved, more deeply than anything else. It makes me emotional because I know that it's my deepest purpose on this earth is to return to the love, go first, and lead the way. I'm here to be love, to embody it, to express it, to give it, and to receive it. And so it matters to me. It really matters to me. So when I look at comparison, self-judgment, shame, staying in that toxic cycle, I think there's multiple reasons for all of those things. I think that perspective I just shared can help you break free from it. But I also think that really understanding your vision, your purpose, and your gifts here in this life will help you to overcome all of those things, because you'll realize you're simply just being who you've been called to be. And when you're in that place, it's really beautiful, really fulfilling. And I really believe that all of the support of the universe and the heavens will come to you to be able to help you along your journey. I feel like when you're really in alignment, that's when things will move and break through for you. The last one, number 10, we have reached the last list. Is disconnection from the divinity within. We are in a society that is so heavily connected, or they have this false perception of connected because of how many people we are connected to via social media and our phones and the internet. And yet they are so deeply disconnected from the ultimate source of connection. When you experience moments of loneliness, ask yourself the question, what am I really lonely of? What am I missing right now in this moment? And often people might say, I'm really missing my partner or a partner, someone to share life with, right? And I think that that is an expression of it. I don't believe that that is the deepest root of it. I believe that the deepest root of that is that you are disconnected from the divine. And I believe that when you have that very strong connection with the divine, you are fulfilled, you are energized, you are creative, you are intentionally crafting the life that you and the divine came here to co-create together. So if you are currently disconnected from the divine, ask yourself, number one, have you ever felt connected to the divine? And if you haven't, I'm excited for you, because there's an opportunity for you to be connected to your true source and your deepest essence. Number two, if you have, identify, when did I feel connected? When was I feeling spiritually connected to the divine essence? And take note of that, because then you can go and invite that into your life. And then also take note of what are the things that make me feel distracted What are the things that numb me? Whether that's social media, drugs, alcohol, smoking, being involved in toxic relationships and friendships and letting other people steal your energy and joy, right? Like when you're giving your most precious thing, your time and your energy away to everyone and everything else, and you're not opening the door to your divinity, you're not accessing it, you're not allowing the ultimate divine to come through. It's like you have all of these blocks, all of these walls that are keeping you from seeing and hearing what is always there. We really do have such a beautiful, vast, expansive universe within us. We literally have the divine essence within us. And I think often we're not taught how to access it. So one of my favorite things to do is to help people access that part of them within themselves. And for some people, it comes quick and it's easy. And for other people, they access something, but there's multiple layers that we can reach through practice and through continuing to remove all of the blockages and all of the things that are keeping you from seeing and feeling it. I believe that I am going to create a free meditation that I want to give you guys, because leading guided meditation is one of my favorite things that I do with my clients at my retreats and the events that I facilitate. So if it is ready by the time that this episode is up, I will definitely place it in a link below in the show notes. If it's not ready by the time the episode is up, just check back a week or two later, or you can always go to my Instagram at Emily Hayden, and also the podcast Instagram, which is Evolve with Emily Podcast. And I'll make sure to place the link there too, so that you guys can always have access to it. So that is the 10 reasons why you may be stuck. And 10 ways to get unstuck, just to recap in the 60-second or less version. Number 1, be deeply honest with yourself, or get somebody that will be honest with you. Number 2, have effective time and energy management and eliminate all distractions. Number 3, create a vision for your life and get crystal clear on your purpose. Number 4, have accountability. Number 5, you have to identify your limiting beliefs and decide what is going to be true for you now and actually embody that and believe that. Number 6, detach yourself from the way that things were and become crystal clear on looking for the new opportunities and new ways in which you can be successful in this season of your life. Number 7, change the circle of people that you're around into people that call you higher, that inspire you, that demand excellence out of you, and that lovingly support your goals and where it is that you want to go. Number 8, get perspective. However you need to, get the perspective you need to understand the opportunity that's right in front of you. Number 9, tune in to the last moments of your life and ask yourself what really matters to you in order to overcome comparison, self-judgment, and shame. And number 10, connect with the divinity within. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Evolve with Emily show. If you enjoyed this episode, please do me a favor, share it, comment on it, rate and review the show, text it to a friend, encourage someone else to subscribe to the show. I really do believe in this show, and as many times as I've wanted to quit because of everything that I mentioned in the show, I am fastened and I'm devoted to being who I've been called to be. And I do believe that in the season of my life, it is being here and sharing these perspectives and these shifts with you guys that I've made in my life and also in my clients' lives. So if it's helpful, do me a favor and let's practice that reciprocity, and shoot me some love back on the podcast. I would greatly appreciate it. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.